Ah, dann wollen wir doch mal back to Neon. London. Ja, wenn wir denn jetzt doch ein bisschen mehr...
The whole place smells of fish. You would think that would keep people away.
Du stinkst auch nach Fisch.
Ja, wenn wir denn jetzt natürlich mehr erforschen und sowas, ne? Dann, hoppala. Dann müssen wir auf jeden Fall mal mehr Ressourcen eintüten, wenn wir auf Planeten oder Monden sind. Wir haben jetzt ja auch sehr viel Platz in unserem Schiff. Ach, verdammt. Dann gehe ich halt die Treppe wie jeder normale Mensch. Wenn es sein muss. Hallo?
I believe you were specifically told that we did not want a body count on this assignment.
Ist das so? Ähm... Nee, das war keine Absicht.
If only intent mattered. All the tools at your disposal, and yet here we are. I hope you at least attempted to use the internal Neuro Amp.
Ja. War hilfreich.
And yet not useful enough to avoid a body count?
Nein.
Still, it's good to know the applications are proving themselves. So now it's just a waiting game for SSNN to break the news. Once the story airs, we have another board meeting scheduled to decide how to handle Infinity. Go ahead, Maeve.
The SSNN broadcast has started. Shall I patch it through?
Yes, thank you.
The murders are believed to be linked to a new investigation where Drexler would have been accused of numerous violations, including murder for hire, unauthorized human trials, and corporate theft. Authorities representing the UC and the Freestar Collective have been dispatched to a consolidated mining station and the clinic. Both locations are believed to hold numerous victims. Drexler's motivation appears to be an attempt to launch a new product based off stolen information from a competitor. The details on the project itself and the competitor have yet to be confirmed. This has been David Barron for SSNN.
Perfect. This exposure puts Infinity right where we want them. The meeting will begin momentarily, but I want you to discuss the options we have with the other members. Infinity's net worth is about to hit rock bottom. So this gives us the opportunity to win a little more public faith.
Ryujin übernimmt Infinity und niemand wird gefeuert. Falls du vorhast, Infinity zu retten, die haben es nicht verdient. Wieso würde Ryujin in der Öffentlichkeit von Infinitys Schaden profitieren?
Infinity is about to crumble before the eyes of the public. They employ thousands of people, and those thousands of people are now worried about their jobs. That's where we come in. First, we'll issue a public statement expressing disgust at their leadership, but sympathy for the innocent workers. That's when we offer to acquire them.
Ich meine, eigentlich ja besser, als wenn die Leute arbeitslos sind, ne?
Quite right. The truth is, we'll be making evaluations. We'll shed any employees who don't make the cut, slowly but surely. By incorporating Infinity, we eliminate a competitor, get their best employees and contracts, and all while boosting our public perception.
I suppose it is all very simple when you do not consider the impact on actual human lives. Just your bottom line.
Glaubst du wirklich, dass Infinity irgendwelche wertvollen Angestellten hat?
We've already done some initial evaluations, so I'm certain of it. Infinity has a lot of appeal being in New Atlantis. I'm sure plenty of brilliant minds are there because they prefer the location. Plus, there's always that handful of people that think they've got something to prove by not working for Ryujin. As if other corporations are really any better.
Ja, gut, letztendlich ist das halt normales Firmengetue, ne? So traurig es auch klingt, aber es ist ja relativ normal. Egal welche Branche. Sieht man ja auch im Gaming, dass Firmen übernommen werden und danach werden nach und nach Stellen abgebaut. Ähm, aber weil Andresha nachgehakt hat, haken wir auch nochmal.
It is the right thing. For Ryujin.
Ja.
Which is why I'd like you to talk to the board to convince them this is the right move. There are several who might disagree, and you have the perfect tool to help sway them.
Mhm. Alter. Selbst wenn sie nicht einverstanden sind, werde ich sie zwingen zuzuhören. Alter. Ich kann nichts versprechen, ich werde nicht gegen meine Kollegen einsetzen. Du willst, dass ich den internen neue gegen die Vorstandsmitglieder einsetze?
Yes, that's exactly what it's designed for. The bright side being, they'll never know.
Boah, Alter, ganz ehrlich, dich sollte man auch hier rausschicken.
Fine. Whether or not you use the internal Neuro Amp is up to you. But I still want results. You'll find most of the board members in their offices preparing. Vina is also here, waiting for the meeting to start. We'll need at least 50% of the vote to go our way. In the event of a tie, I will make the final decision. I trust you'll get it done. Don't rush it. Take your time.
Boah.
Did Masako send you to try and convince me to acquire Infinity Ltd? I think we both know that's not going to work.
Für intern Euro Amp für Infinity LTD. Ich verdient das nicht. Ja, das Ding ist. Eigentlich,
Hello?
ne, also auch wenn, also selbst wenn jetzt erstmal alle Jobs gerettet werden und danach werden welche gekürzt, aber dann haben die Leute ja trotzdem zumindest noch teilweise einen Job. Also.
Our public perception is good enough. If you ask me, reaching out to save Infinity just makes us look weak. The internal neuroamp gives us the power to crush our competitors, not take them under our wing. This is exactly why Masako's time as CEO is finished.
Hm. Ja, ihr seid alle zu versessen darauf, den Neuro Amp gegeneinander einzusetzen.
Oh? Your response tells me Masako must have given you similar advice. It'd be unlike her to not fully exploit an advantage, especially when she believes acquiring Infinity is the right thing to do.
Warum bist du so strikt gegen eine Übernahme?
The corporate world will hear SSNN's story and believe Ryujin exposed Infinity because they stole from us. It sends a strong message. But acquiring Infinity could be interpreted as a safety net. Infinity tried to screw us over, yet they still survived. We need to be sending a much stronger message. If you mess with Ryujin, we'll shut you down. Period. Ryujin Industries isn't a corporation built on heart. I think you know that. The benefits may exist, but the message will be stronger. As long as everyone has Ryujin's best interests in mind, this should make for an interesting meeting.
Ja, ich probiere.
An issue? That would be a foolish move. Dalton and Alexis are the only two against it. You'd never get the rest to shut it down.
Wir können jetzt den Neuro Amp benutzen. Um dafür zu sorgen, dass der Neuro Amp gecancelt wird. Herzenlige, würdest du ihn mit deiner Stimme begraben? Dass die Vorteile, die Nachteile überwiegen?
As long as we have the proper safeguards and rules in place, the benefits exponentially outweigh the drawbacks. Even if we limit the usage to Ryujin Industries employees alone, the advantages are too numerous to count. Please, Ryujin's best interests are long-term success and growing profits. The internal Neuro Amp provides both. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have a lot of preparations to make. I'm looking forward to bringing up a few topics of my own.
Okay. Wir sollten auf jeden Fall dafür sorgen, dass der Neuro Amp abhanden kommt. Selbst wenn wir da vielleicht ein bisschen nachhelfen müssen.
Just the person I wanted to see.
Was natürlich,
I want to
ne?
get all the details locked down.
Doppelmoral.
I believe you to be one of the best sources available.
Aber gut. Nicht nur die beste Quelle, sondern die beste Quelle. Kann Entscheidungen auf verschiedene mit beeinflussen. Ja, ich wollte auch mit dir über das Meeting.
An efficient exchange, then. You've had the chance to encounter members of Infinity Ltd. throughout your assignments here. Do you think they're worth redemption? And why?
Wir können dadurch die Jobs von tausenden Menschen retten. Ja, eigentlich sollten wir uns wirklich dafür aussprechen, dass wir die übernehmen. Ich hätte genügend Kontakt mit ihm gehabt, um eine brauchbare Antwort zu geben. Ja, wir können schon ein paar Jobs
Saving
retten,
the
ne?
jobs of thousands is altruistic, which is not a luxury corporations have. It's a financial burden. It would be a huge undertaking on my part.
Also bisher, also ich meine, gut, ich habe bisher nur mit einer gesprochen, aber sie konnte ich nicht mit anderen Antwortmöglichkeiten überzeugen. Geht das wirklich nur mit dem Neuro Amp?
Perhaps I wanted to see if I could be convinced otherwise. It's easy to say, it's the right thing to do for someone in your position. But for me, Infinity Ltd. Is a huge financial unknown. It's high risk versus mediocre reward.
Das ist hier die Chance, etwas Gutes zu tun.
That is a plea more well spent on Genevieve or Alexis. I prefer to focus on the numbers and leave emotions out of my decision-making.
Wir versuchen es nochmal.
Your disdain is noted. And perhaps you thought I'd care because you're hopeful. Next question. What is your opinion on how Masako handled the mole situation?
Okay, ich muss, glaube ich, wirklich manipulieren, um dahin zu kommen, was ich haben will. Das ist natürlich fiese Doppelmoral, ne? Ja, es hätte gar nicht erst Maulwurf geben dürfen.
Expand on that, if you can.
Warum hat das Andresha nicht gefallen? Das ist doch Fakt. Schon länger feuern sollen. Ein starker CEO konzentriert sich darauf, so eine Situation gar nicht erst entstehen zu lassen. Hier muss dafür sorgen.
An excellent point. Why react and repair when you can prevent a situation altogether? I appreciate the insight. I suppose I should ask if there's anything I can do for you, considering how helpful you've been.
Wie schätzt du den internen Neuro Amp ein?
It's the next big step for Ryujin Industries. Financially, it'll keep us secure for years to come. There's no doubt it's our future.
Ist gefährlich und sollte verboten werden.
It's only dangerous to those who can't afford one. Hence the added motivation that will bolster sales.
Aha. Andresha, sag du doch mal was.
Ah, your companion. I would be interested in another perspective.
You are naive if you think tech like this will remain under control. Think of the Neuro Amp in the hands of a Varun Zealot or Crimson Fleet pirate. It is not a matter of if it will happen, but a matter of when. Will you be equipped to handle the repercussions when that day comes?
What makes you so certain this is inevitable? Not that I doubt the scenario.
Simple. It is human nature. Nuclear weapons, chemical warfare, xeno-warfare, mechs. Enemies and competitors will get their hands on this tech eventually and reverse engineer it to use however they see fit.
I admit, you've properly pushed my concerns to the very edge. Your friend here is quite convincing. The internal Neuro Amp does indeed come with risks, none of which I am inclined to take anymore. This has been rather enlightening for me. I appreciate the time.
Jetzt müssen wir aber langsam ein bisschen drücken, wenn wir die Übernahme von Infinity durchbringen wollen.
And how's my favorite patient doing? Not seeing any temporal memory flashes or losing time, I hope.
Sind das die bekannten Nebenwirkungen?
What? No, of course not. They're purely theoretical.
Ich wache öfter an seltsamen Orten auf. Ich bin nicht hier, um über meine... Mir geht's gut.
That's great. I'd say Project Dominion is ready for legitimate human trials in that case. One step closer to seeing market approval.
Scheiße, hätte ich sagen sollen, ich hab Nebenwirkungen.
So, tell me what you think of the Neuro Amp.
Verändert alles, du wirst noch berühmt werden, diese Technologie ist gefährlich. Das ist einfach noch so ein nutzloses Ding, das mir im Kopf herumklappert. Niemand sollte solche Macht besitzen.
I hope you're not actually suggesting that the technology I spent years working on and perfecting never sees the light of day. This is groundbreaking work. My life's work.
Siehst du denn wirklich nicht die Nachteile dieses Geräts?
Of course I do. But there are amazing things Dominion can be used for, too. Humanity has always created dangers, and we've always policed them as well. The internal Neuro Amp will be no different.
Schlimmes
It
passiert
just
ist.
needs to find its place.
Wir haben auch die Atombombe entwickelt. Hervorragende wissenschaftliche Arbeit. Überzeugt.
Fine, fine. Make your case.
Also, Diplomatie. Bitte hör mir doch zu. Du bist zu intelligent, um die negativen Seiten einfach zu ignorieren.
Damn the negatives. You're right. I really haven't been taking everything into account.
Da. So ein Gerät könnte den nächsten Koloniekrieg anzetteln. Ja.
It could definitely do a lot of damage in the wrong hands. Well, this conversation's made me feel like a proper monster. But you're right. In a perfect world, tech like this is used for good. But this world is far from perfect.
Okay. Neuro Amp ist jetzt ausgeglichen, aber sie hatte gesagt, bei dem Ausgleich entscheidet sie. Das heißt, wir müssen dafür sorgen, dass wir mehr Leute haben. Also 4. Du bist kein Monster, du hast dich nur in der Begeisterung verloren, etwas Neues zu entdecken. Beachte, dass die Konsequenzen sind eklatant. Du bist kein Monster.
It is. It really is. For years, my only focus has been, is this possible? And then, how do I make it work? I never stopped to consider if it was right, or what it would mean. I guess it'll be up to a vote either way. It's not on the meeting agenda, so I assume you'll bring it up yourself? We just have to hope the others will see reason. So the next question is, what will the fate of Infinity Ltd be?
Ja. Hast du eine Meinung?
I'd like to acquire them, although it won't break my heart if we don't. Faye may have stepped over a line in her attempt to replicate my work, but she's a brilliant engineer. I'm very curious to see what else she may have been working on and dig into her research. Wenn wir sie übernehmen, entdecken wir bestimmt lustige Versuche, unsere Arbeit nachzubauen. Exactly. Not that I want to gloat over it. Maybe just a little. Okay, so DeMarcus and I have really been looking forward to it, so fingers crossed this deal goes through. Well, this has certainly been the most interesting conversation of my day. All we can do now is look forward to the meeting, right? See you
Alles
there.
ausgeglichen. Und 3 Mitglieder haben wir noch. Dein Sonnensystem ist runtergefallen.
Is Masako checking up on me to make sure I'm on her side?
Warum denkst du, dass Masako mich geschickt hat?
Because that's what I do. You want something in this business? You don't pull any punches. The only real question is just how persuasive she asked you to be.
Hängt davon ab, auf welcher Seite du bist. Naja, eigentlich bin ich hier, weil sie mich ja geschickt hat schon, ne? Aber nein.
Mm-hmm. And I don't have an agenda. Look, I know Masako sent you. She knows I want this deal as much as she does. We just need to grab Infinity Ltd. while it's got the public's full attention. I'm all about free PR, especially when it's painting us in a good light.
Was spricht für die Übernahme?
Infinity is that sad company in distress with thousands of employees terrified of their futures right now. We are the warm embrace of security coming to rescue them.
Es muss doch auch eine Schattenseite geben. Wo liegt das Problem?
The only downsides are the unknowns. Lyndon and Alexis are gonna have a lot on their hands. Not that I'm getting off easy. Whatever they find, if it hits the public, that's gonna fall on my shoulders too.
Wir würden das ganze unschuldige Personal retten. Würde uns in gutem Licht dastehen lassen. Ja, mir doch egal, welche finanziellen Schwierigkeiten Ryujin bekommt.
I'm sure I can squeeze enough goodwill out of this to last us at least a year.
Okay, also, wir sind jetzt im Vorteil bei Infinity. Denkst du wirklich nur an die Verbraucher?
The consumer is our lifeblood. So capturing their wants and desires? Of course, it's all I care about. I'm sure I wouldn't be in this position today if it wasn't.
Ich möchte gerne über mehr sprechen.
Well, you have my attention.
Hast du schon einmal bedacht, wie übermächtig der interne Neuro Amp ist?
Of course. which is why I know it requires some very delicate handling. But unlike Alexis, I believe we can get the proper restrictions and regulations in place to have a marketable product. We do it every day with weapons we arm ourselves and our ships with.
Er wird alles ändern, aber er braucht feste Rahmenbedingungen. Wir sollten jede Chance nutzen, aus dem Kapital zu schlagen. Wir sollten jede Chance nutzen. Die Forschung sollte verboten werden.
The possible backlash on tech like this is not lost on me. However, the internal Neuro Amp will define the next era of tech, with Ryujin at the forefront. It's not an opportunity you just walk away from.
Die Öffentlichkeit soll ein Produkt gutheißen, das nichtsahnende Bürger manipulieren kann.
Not when you word it like that. But a product that can settle disputes or help broaden someone's point of view? Then you really have something that consumers will buy into. Well, it seems your talents really do stretch beyond just being an operative. Good talk. Maybe I'll even consult you on future endeavors. This
Da hat sich nichts verändert.
Get pretty interesting.
Interner Neuro Amp ist immer noch 2.2.
If you need something, make it quick. I'd like to make sure my arguments are solid before this meeting.
Okay. Ich bin mir sicher, wenn du ihre Übernahme von LTD unterstützt, richtige Entscheidung triffst. Ich habe gehört, du bist nicht begeistert von der Aussicht, Infinity LTD zu kaufen.
You heard correct. I've every reason to believe that Infinity LTD is the Pandora's box of corporations.
Was genau sind denn deine Argumente?
I can guarantee that Infinity Ltd was up to more than just the current charges. The process of finding and following up on all those threads won't be easy. I refuse to be blindsided by another corporation's past, so this is going to take a lot of time and patience.
Ja, komm hier, ne? Aber dann gibt doch auch
All right, I'll
Vorteile.
finish the entertainment. Tell me why Infinity is a good asset.
Also, guck mal hier. Überzeugen. Es reizt dich doch bestimmt, einen wasserdichten Deal hinzubekommen.
If it was anyone other than Infinity, I assure you it would.
Guck mal hier, automatisches Überzeugen.
All right. Yes, there are numerous benefits. Huh.
So.
Well, what do you know? I think you just convinced me. Talent like yours belongs in the courtroom.
Okay, aber ich hab noch was. Habt ihr schon Vorkehrungen getroffen, um den internen Neuro Amp auf den freien Markt zu bringen? Ein Volltreffer mit dem internen Neuro Amp ließ sich kinderleicht. Ja, juristischer Albtraum, Neuro Amp Volltreffer. Jo.
Don't even get me started. First off, if I find out you used that device on me, I will tie you up in court on whatever charges I can conjure for the rest of your life. Second, that tech is one major human rights violation that no legal team wants to fight. I'll do whatever I can to make sure it's either severely delayed or collects dust in storage.
Well, that is one very clear position.
In der Tat. Und da bin ich dabei. Irgendein positiver Aspekt?
Tech like this only has good applications when you have complete control over who uses it. Once that tech hits a market, open or private, that control is gone. And not only that, the tech is out there to be advanced or modified by anyone who might get their hands on it.
Und warum lehnst du ihn ab, im Gegensatz zu den normalen?
Because the external Neuro Amps are built to help the user on a personal level. They aid in reason, communication, confidence, all things that can make the difference in a person's self-image. And yes, they can be abused. But that's why there are laws regarding improper usage.
Mhm. Ja, also ich bin auch da, ne?
Well, I'm both glad and surprised to hear the one person who has one say that. Masako is lucky to have you at her disposal, you know? You may be the greatest asset, aside from the internal Neuro Amp, that Ryujin has. This exchange has been surprisingly insightful, but now I really do need to get back to my notes.
I have things I wish to discuss with you. When you have time.
Für dich doch immer.
I have been curious.
Was geht denn
I
jetzt
know
ab?
that your role in Constellation was thrust upon you in an unusual way. But that experience does not demand that you
Andresha,
stay.
geht's dir gut?
You could have delivered the artifact and then left. Why do you stay?
Du machst mir Angst. Ich habe eine Ehefrau gefunden. Bei mir ist diese Woche sonst nicht viel los. Ist ein netter Trupp und sie brauchen bedeuten etwas. Wir müssen herausfinden, was. Sowohl als auch. Ist ein netter Trupp.
They are dedicated in their cause. This is rare and admirable, I think. My past is complicated. And anyone in Constellation will tell you I do not speak much of it. But my family always stressed the importance of having a purpose in life. You must have a reason for being.
Warum bedeutet die Constellation dir so viel?
This group of people, who by rights would never associate with one another, has come together for a common cause. That is impressive on its own, before considering the magnitude of the work they have undertaken. The possibilities it holds.
Ich sag mal, es ist wichtig, Ziel.
A goal is something you work towards, an expectation of achievement. That is not the same. I believe it is sometimes phrased as, the destination is not as important as the journey. When I first came to New Atlantis, I was shocked at how many people go about their business every day like drones. They do their jobs, eat their food, sleep in their beds, all seemingly without concern for anything around them. Complacent. Their experience is so different from much of the settled systems. They do not know how good they have it.
Inwiefern ist ihr Leben anders?
There is no struggle to survive here. No great risk in daily life. I'm sure you have seen for yourself that is not the case for much of the settled systems. Hostile environments, dangerous creatures, not to mention the threats posed by other humans. None of that touches these people.
Du glaubst, um wirklich zu leben, muss man kämpfen müssen?
I think if there is no struggle, people can forget what living really means. Purpose cuts through adversity. I know that all too well. And these people seem to have no idea.
Tut mir leid, dass du ein schweres Leben hattest.
I am not asking for pity. I have done what is necessary to bear my burdens, and it has led me here. My family is unique within the settled systems. I grew up outside the bounds of the United Colonies, or the Freestar Collective. My parents, and their parents before them, did not believe anyone outside our family could be trusted or relied upon. You can imagine, I am sure, how existence without ties to others is challenging in space.
Warum wollte deine Familie unbedingt unabhängig sein?
They believed, and still do, that anyone who was not part of our family did not share our values, our goals, and was ultimately a potential threat. My time in the settled systems has mostly led me to agree with them.
Bewundernswert. Ich hätte dieses Leben nicht gewählt.
Choice had nothing to do with it, not for me. But looking back, I understand their concern. For now, though, it would seem you and I have found purpose in Constellation. I believe that is enough. I am pleased that we have common cause and have enjoyed our time together. Thank you.
Okay. Kannst du bitte aufhören? Du bist ja immer wieder. Okay. Also. Infinity kaufen, Neuro Amp fallen lassen. Er ist ja, glaube ich, schon gegen den Neuro Amp. Das wird also kein Problem. Die Frage ist, wie ist das bei... Wir brauchen mehr, oder? Ihre Stimme wird ja auch noch mit reinziehen. Sonst könnte es ja gar kein Unentschieden geben. Bei 7 Leuten. Also er muss auch dafür stimmen, dass wir Infinity kaufen.
This meeting should prove to be very interesting. I assume Masako briefed you on her preferred outcome.
Ich soll den Vorstand mit den internen Neuro Amp dazu bringen, den Kauf von Infinity zu segnen. Stimmen für die Übernahme zu sichern. Masako möchte, dass ich das theoretisch abgestimmt werde. Ich weigere mich, Stimmen für die Übernahme zusammen.
Good on you.
It would be almost fitting to see the technology immediately turned on those who fostered its creation.
Das ist
If
wahr.
it were up to me, I'd have shut down Project Dominion a long time ago. I knew it was a grave security risk, and look what happened.
Du warst von Anfang an dagegen?
Completely. I understand the success it can bring for the corporation, but my only concern here is security. It's not that the board majority fails to see the dangers. It's that they believe we can overcome them. That hubris could easily bring this corporation down one day. I only hope it won't be on my watch.
Sag bloß, dass du Masako tatsächlich mal in einer Sache widersprichst.
It's not often, but yes. And I'm not the only board member that initially voted against moving forward with the research.
Wir haben selbst gesehen, wie gefährlich die Technologie ist. Sie sollte nie verkauft.
You read my mind. Let's just hope Masako and the others see it that way. Plus, if we vote to acquire Infinity Ltd., we're about to add a significant workload onto my team. The last thing I want to deal with are any more incidents this new Neuro Amp might cause.
Er will die Übernahme nicht. Denkst du, dass jetzt der richtige Zeitpunkt ist, Infinity zu
Well,
übernehmen?
the timing could be better, but I don't feel strongly one way or another about the acquisition. We've gone through our fair share in the past, and this one would be no different. If Masako wishes to bring Infinity into the fold, I will not stand against it.
Die Übernahme ist die Mühe
I
wert.
imagine we're looking at months of work. Infinity Ltd. is obviously not known for their security. I only hope that Masako and the others will be patient with the process. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some preparations to make. We'll be announcing Ularu's termination of employment at this meeting, so I need to have security ready to escort her off the premises.
Okay. Dann dürften wir ja erreicht haben, was wir wollten. Übernahme und... Was passiert, wenn ich mich stattdessen auf... Ich kann mich nicht auf den Stuhl sitzen, schade. Die Übernahme und den Neuro Amp Cancel. Da ist noch ein freier Stuhl.
All right, everyone. As you all know, we've successfully exposed Infinity Ltd's botched human trials and murder for hire through SSNN. The public is demanding their leadership, namely Lucas Drexler, face trial, and he's probably writing his resignation as we speak. Ryujin will be launching a statement, but I believe now is the perfect time to acquire Infinity Ltd.
Nichts sagen. Masako hat dich noch nie in die Irre geführt. Ich würde ihrer Einschätzung vertrauen. Wir sollten jetzt handeln. Durch die Ankündigung das Vertrauen gewinnen. Für unsere Absicht, Infinity zu übernehmen, würden wir die Mitarbeiter beruhigen. Hier.
The operative is right. Legal ramifications are a certainty, but the benefits far outweigh the disadvantages.
Arguments?
Infinity Ltd. could be the Pandora's box of financial and legal risks. I simply cannot support an acquisition.
We should be crushing our competition, not rescuing them from their own flaws. This is a weak decision, Masako, and you know it. In fact, I move that Masako be removed from CEO altogether.
Ularu, this isn't a line you want to cross.
And considering you're the mole, if anyone's going to be removed from power, it's going to be you.
Hold up. Are you saying you lied to us?
Dalton, the last meeting we had, you distinctly said Imogene was the mole, and she'd been dealt with.
Wenn du Lara sich selbst benannte, war einfach nur ein Opfer. Lara hat ihr das angehängt. Imogen ist unschuldig. Sie hat einen wichtigen Beitrag zu Laras Bloßstellung geleistet. Wir mussten also lügen, um einen Job zu verteidigen. Diese Methoden sind euch allen sicher vertraut. True.
Were you going to say something?
Schnauze.
Do you even have any proof to back up this outrageous claim?
Of course we do. The malicious code you hid on this slate to upload incriminating evidence against Masako onto Lucas Drexler's computer.
To put it bluntly, Ularu, you're fired. Security will hold you in your office until a proper exit interview can be done.
This isn't right. I should at least have the opportunity to resign.
And allow you to still be marketable to a competitor? I don't think so. This may be news to me, and I will be reviewing the evidence closely. But this isn't something you just get to walk away from.
Mir doch nicht leid. Du bist hier fertig.
Security. Escort Miss Chen to her office and see that she stays put.
You'll regret this. All of you.
I believe the only regret would be trusting you to begin with.
All right, back to business. All in favor of acquiring Infinity Ltd?
Aye.
All against?
Nay.
Good. Alexis, start drawing up the necessary documentation. Anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up?
Ich. Meiner Meinung nach sollte die Arbeit am internen Neuro Amp eingestellt werden. Er ist zu gefährlich. Wir sagen, er ist zu gefährlich.
The internal Neuro Amp is a key component of Ryujin Industries' success for the next 10 years, if not more. Why would we shelve it after we've finally perfected it?
Ah, so kann es natürlich ein Unentschieden geben, weil Ursula rausfällt. Zu viele moralische Konsequenzen.
Pay attention.
Das ist im Prinzip ein Gedankenkontrollgerät, er sollte verboten werden. Lässt das Vertrauen hin, beraubt einen Menschen seines freien Willens und das ist falsch.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's right. Regardless of the pros, the cons are too morally and ethically irresponsible to move forward with.
I must agree. We can't go through with production on technology like this until certain safeties can be guaranteed.
Very well. All in favor of shelving Project Dominion?
Aye. Nay.
Vina, prep Project Dominion for storage. Any other matters to bring forth? None?
Ich hab
This
nichts.
concludes our order of business for today.
Gutes Meeting, gutes Meeting. 10 out of 10. Kann ich nochmal mit euch sprechen?
With Infinity joining the fold,
Yes.
we have a lot of work ahead of us.
Wahrscheinlich nicht. Hallo!
Shelving the internal Neuro Amp. Not the outcome I anticipated.
Naja. Ich habe noch nie gern Befehle, ich habe es versucht, es lief anders als gedacht. Der Vorstand stimmt zu, das wird zum Besten sein. Vielleicht verstehst du jetzt, was so gefährlich am internen Neuro Amp ist.
A fine point, but it still proves its usefulness. The truth remains, Lucas Drexler learned a hard lesson, and we exposed a traitor among us. You've proven yourself to be quite the asset here at Ryujin.
Es ist deine Art, es dich zu bedanken. Ein Gern geschehen, ich habe nur meinen Job gemacht. Danke. Ich hoffe, das bedeutet auch eine Gehaltserhöhung für mich. Ja, ist ein Kompliment.
It's well earned and deserved. I truly appreciate the work you put into exposing Ularu. No operative has ever had to investigate our own to the extent that you did. I can imagine it may have been a lot of pressure, considering you were fairly new at the time.
There was no honor in Ularu's plan. It did not deserve to succeed.
Wie oft passiert es bei Ryujin, dass jemand gegen das Unternehmen arbeitet?
Not often, and certainly not to this degree. We have the occasional employee consider selling information, but thanks to our security and operations teams, we always catch them before any damage can be done. This was the first time anyone from either department was involved.
Das ist für mich nichts Besonderes.
Imogene's instincts were right about you. Now, as promised, I have your bonus. I hope you'll find it appropriate for all you've done.
Mehr Geld und ich
And
weiß nicht, wohin
I'm
damit.
promoting you to senior operative. You've more than earned it.
Ja. Das ist noch untertrieben. Erzähl mir mal mehr über diese
As for the
Position.
details, I think someone back on the operations floor would prefer to explain those to you.
Can we speak for a moment?
Du schon wieder.
I suppose now you can add climbing the corporate ladder to your list of accomplishments. I think it is perhaps for the best that the research program will come to an end. Where that Neuro Amp technology could lead, there are many bad outcomes. Too many.
Was wäre das Schlimmste, das du dir ausmalen kannst?
I was going to say that everyone with an internal Neuro Amp all trying to control each other would be the worst. But perhaps even more dangerous would be only one person managing to control everyone else.
Niemand sollte so viel Kontrolle über andere haben.
Except you, perhaps. You do still have one in your head.
Das ist wahr. Stört es dich?
I consider this to be a much safer outcome than nearly any other. And before you joke, yes, that is a compliment. And if you are the only one with this Neuro Amp, I know exactly who to keep an eye on. I suggest you keep that in mind. With the Neuro Amp matter settled, we should move on to other things, yes?
Achso, das war's schon.
What did you need? All right then.
Das war's schon. Sprich mit Sarah Morgan, sprich mit Sam Co. Immogene. Ist Immogene mittlerweile hier? Oder ist sie noch... Ah, sie ist wieder hier anscheinend. Immogene, willkommen zurück.
You've certainly shaken things up around here. I still can't believe Ularu tried to frame me.
Ursula.
An obvious misjudgment on my part. But now that's all in the past. It's time to get back to your typical day-to-day.
Ich soll mich gleich wieder an die Arbeit
Of
machen.
course. If you think anyone here believes in downtime, forget it.
Schön, dich wieder im Büro.
And I'd say it's good to be back if I hadn't returned to a mountain of paperwork. Now, since you were new, you've been dealing with people, but most of our assignments are generated on the mission board. The board holds any available assignments that our techs have pieced together, and I've approved. Questions?
Was sind das so für Aufträge?
Nothing you aren't already familiar with. You experienced the majority of what we do here during your training, if you recall. Uploading a few files, manipulating a narrative or two, obtaining schematics, it's just more of the same.
Mhm. Ich habe mit dir also gar nichts mehr zu tun?
No, but try to see that as an improvement, since I certainly do. The mission board is more efficient for both of us.
Mhm. Das macht deinen Job doch deutlich einfacher.
I wish. Assignment approval isn't exactly riveting work. With your promotion, you've earned yourself an office, so whenever you're ready, you can find your own personal mission board inside.
Geil, ich hab
And
Office.
the best perk of them all, you're free to make your own hours. Oh, and congratulations, of course.
Kann ich außerhalb des Ryujins Towers auf die... ich habe meine Arbeitszeit schon immer selbst festgelegt. Danke.
You certainly will. Go check out the board, and if you have any questions, I suppose I can start up an open door policy. Just for you.
Mhm. Oh, das ist jetzt mein Büro. Andrea, guck dir das an. Mein Büro. Oh. Die ist vollautomatisch. Schön. Die ist vollautomatisch. Das ist das Einzige, was mich an der Shotgun stört. Die Feuerrate. Die macht natürlich 50 weniger Damage, aber die macht anstatt Rata. Rata. Nee. Erstmal ein paar Drogen. Geil. Oh, die ist, glaube ich, gut. Also zumindest besser als meine jetzige. Was haben wir denn hier so? Beweismittel im Trade Tower, hacke Trade Tower Geldkorb, sabotiere der Rede Feierabend. Ja, das sind jetzt halt so, ne? Sachen, die nirgendwo hinführen, deswegen würde ich sagen, schwuppdiwuppdi. Die Questline scheint dann abgeschlossen. Nö. Ja. Dann ist die Quest abgeschlossen. Mit Ryujin. Ay, caramba. Und damit können wir dann auch erstmal Neon verlassen. Ich meine, wir haben dann noch Yannick, den wir fragen können. Wegen den Aurora, aber ich habe... Ich will kein Aurora eigentlich... Nimm mal dies. Den brauche ich auch nicht mehr.
You done here? Time to move on.
Ja. Da, machen wir mal eine Schnellreise.
To be taking off immediately, or are there other matters that require your attention?
Moment. So, oh, scheiße, jetzt habe ich das Schiff wieder verlassen. Ach, das ist doch alles ein Fisch. Einsteigen. Nee, aber eigentlich... Ich wollte mal gucken, aber ich habe ja keine Ressourcen bekommen. Also kann ich ja eigentlich nichts erforschen jetzt. Oder wie einfach alle hier unten sind. Achso, warte mal, stimmt. Ich sollte... Du wolltest mit mir sprechen.
Those tricky decisions regarding Ryujin must have been difficult. In fact, I'm amazed you were able to deal with them at all. Those types of corporations remind me why I never ventured into business. I can't stand that way of life.
Welches Leben meinst du?
The moral ambiguity, the deceit, the avarice. Mega corporations seem to exude a complete disregard for common human decency.
Ist nicht viel. Ich finde das auch mal gerade, wie du sie darstellst. Alter, die guckt aber auch mies böse gerade. Leck mich am Arsch. Ey, ich bin da ganz bei dir.
It is disgusting. And I'm pleased you recognized that Ryujin almost made a grievous error in judgment. After all, based on your recommendation, they've ceased their work on that disturbing Neuro Amp technology.
Warum macht ihr die Neuro Amp Technology solche... Naja, also das ist halt eine dämliche Frage.
You mean other than the fact that it can turn a free-willed human being into a mindless automaton? For you to even ask me that question means you're completely blind to the implications of that horrid device.
Hätte über viele Jahre anderen... Man Feinde auf nicht tödliche Weise aufhalten. Freut mich, dass du meine Entscheidung...
Why wouldn't I be pleased about your decision? Can you imagine if that technology had fallen into the wrong hands? The awful things you could force people to do. Oh, it's terribly frightening.
Wozu könnte man die Menschen zwingen? Zu allem!
How about making someone forcibly end their own life? Or worse, pick up a weapon and start shooting at innocent people? Taking control of someone's mind and implanting suggestions is a terrifying prospect of this weapon.
Die negativen Aspekte überwiegen die positiven bei weitem.
Yes, quite. Well, I've certainly taken up enough of your time. Thanks for letting me get that off my mind.
Ja, ich hätte gerne noch mehr Zeit in Anspruch.
Dad, can I have a pet?
Halt die Fresse! Ich muss mit deinem Vater sprechen.
Pets and starships don't always mix so well. Of all the places in the galaxy, only Neon can make me feel so damn oily. And you dealt with its absolute worst. Ryujin, Infinity LTD, all of it. You doing alright? That was a lot.
Ehrlich gesagt ziemlich auf. Ich glaube, mehr hätte ich nicht ertragen. Mach dir keine Sorgen.
Of course you are. You're tougher than me. How come no matter how advanced society gets, we still just can't help coming up with new horrors to inflict on ourselves? Mechs, xeno warfare, and now this Neuro Amp tech. Swear it's the worst yet. Thank God you put a stop to it.
Ja, schon. Also, das sind halt dämliche Fragen. Wissenschaftlicher Fortschritt marschiert unaufhaltsam weiter. Auf diesen Neuro Amps kann nichts Gutes entstehen. Aus.
Amen to that. With a piece of work like Ryujin, I know there isn't a good person to put in charge. I mean, I guess Masako's better than Ularu Chen, but you just know if violence or being just plain evil was the path of least resistance, then Masako would pick it same as Ularu.
Schrecklich Masako ist dies. Sie war das kleinere Übel. Ich jemand anderem wählen. Das ist ein Krieger, das ist Oh.
I know, it's unfair. The whole situation just makes me want to punch a wall. Well, the whole damned affair is over. Thank God.
Okay. Haben wir mit ihnen auch gesprochen. Andreja guckt ihre Hände an. Hui. So, die kommt da rein. Kann ich ja eigentlich ausziehen. Der bringt ja nichts, ne? Da haben wir einmal für Überzeugen dabei und schwerer zu. Und dann heben wir mal ab.
Struts retracting. Let's get out of here.
This right here is my catnip. Orbit reached.
Orbit reached. So, wir müssen mal gucken. Wir haben ballistische und wir haben Laserwaffen. Da sollten wir vielleicht auch mal im Kopf haben. Hier, ne? Haben wir hier ja auch. Ballistisch. Ist Laser Energie? Muss dann, ja. Automatisiert ist es nicht. EM ist es nicht. Teilchenstrahl ist es nicht. Raketen. Wobei, vielleicht sieht das aus der Teilchenstrahl. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Okay, dann können wir hier mal ein Schwerkraftfall. Nehmen wir das mal mit. Und dann können wir mal gucken. Ja, da haben wir halt noch die Nickellieferung. Da hatten wir noch... Das sollten wir machen. Aber ich kann mich noch daran erinnern, das System war ein relativ hohes Level. Level 35. Da sind wir mittlerweile drüber. Das heißt, das könnten wir angehen. Das heißt, wir könnten die Freestar Collective Questline dann quasi starten. Wir könnten uns auch endlich mal um die Terramorphs kümmern. Das wäre vielleicht auch nice. Das wäre auch nice. Bei der Constellation mal wieder voranzukommen. Und hier haben wir ja auch noch ein bisschen was. Zeig mal hier, die ECS Constant. Die ist wirklich immer noch im Orbit da? Ich dachte, die bewegt sich mal weg. Wollten die nicht sich neuen Planeten suchen? Das ist mittlerweile, keine Ahnung, 1, 2 Spielzeittage her? Die sind halt wirklich immer noch hier. Was seid ihr denn vollkommen bescheuert? Ich dachte, die würden sich mal bewegen. Anscheinend bewegen die sich nicht. Naja. Aber da können wir vielleicht mal an Bord gehen. Und mal gucken, ob sich dann was getan hat. Aber das machen wir nicht mehr heute. Wir sind jetzt seit 4 Stunden 30 dran, beziehungsweise 4 Stunden. Ich will einmal kurz telefonieren. Und ich würde sagen, euch lieben Leuten auf YouTube sage ich, mein Schild hat schon wieder eine Energie zu wenig. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Wenn ja, dann würde ich mich sehr über euren Support freuen. Für euch geht es wie immer morgen weiter. Und ja, haut rein.